Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I apologize for the late start, but nevertheless, we're here to commemorate this very bad day that occurred in the history of these United States several years ago. And so I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come out and be a part of this. We know what happened on that very dark day in September several years ago, and ever since that day, things have not been the same. And many of you, men and women in uniform, first responders, all became a part of what happened on that day. And so it is right for us to come together annually to commemorate what transpired on that day. And so before I say anything more, I would just like to go right to the presentation of the colors by the Plainfield Police Guard. So let's have the presentation of the colors.
Colors, ho! Present, pose!
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose portraits in bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the rampart do you watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang there, the bombs bursting in air. April to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the wind and the leaf and the home of the brave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colors, right shoulder, pose! Forward, pose!
I am so thankful for any and everyone who appreciates and honors those who gave their lives, and for any of our first responders. It is all love and prayer. So I am happy to be part of today where we as a city will do a program to honor the lives of those lost in 9/11.
Good morning on this solemn day of 9/11, where we remember all those who have lost their lives. And I want to say a big round of thank you to all the first responders who risked their lives to go in to help those who were in trouble. This is a time when we should all remember everyone who participated and think of all those that we have lost.
Well, as many Americans, especially people who live in the tri-state area, 9/11 is very personal to me, and I have a personal connection to September 11th. I remember being a 5th grader at Evergreen Elementary School when I heard the news, and instantly thinking of my mother and grandmother who went through the World Trade Center every day in order to get to work. I remember being scared and anxious. I also remember the feeling of relief when I saw my mother pick me up that day and she let me know that both her and my grandmother were okay. I just remember how that changed our lives. But I also remember how we were able to shift and pivot and become better from it and become more vigilant, and just really using that as a teachable moment that we have to always be prepared and we have to always be on our toes and always be watching and always be waiting. To our first responders, I want to say thank you for all the work that you do. I want to thank you on behalf of the residents of the First Ward, and know that we stand with you, we support you, and we are here for you. So thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank the first responders for their continued service. Certainly on that day, that fateful day, any recovery effort that's needed on behalf of the country, first responders are there first. So my heartfelt appreciation, respect, and admiration goes out to those who answer the call when the call comes, whenever the call comes, and however enormous the task is.
Each year we take time to commemorate the sacrifices that were made by so many of our people. Our first responders, namely our policemen and women, our firefighters, our rescue squads, our doctors and nurses, the many people whose lives were changed as a result of their response to that emergency. And so, as mayor of the city of Plainfield, I will always, on this annual anniversary, come together with members of my administration and with our first responders to say thank you for those who put their lives on the line, and to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation. And so, I thank all of you for the service that you have given. We lift up all of our first responders each and every day, and I will continue as mayor to do all that I can. I will provide the resources to our police officers and our firefighters, to our rescue squad, and to everyone who is charged with the responsibility of protecting and serving our city each and every day. And so to you and your families, I say thank you, and may God continue to bless you.
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? And why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home, when Jesus is a portion of constant friend is He. His life is all the sparrow, and I know He'll just be. And I sing because I'm happy. 'cause I know you are just, you are just all over me. Oh, I'll never know you are just all over me. You are just all over me. Thank you. Past has taught us, sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat and not a weary feet, come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met, lest our hearts drink with the wine of the world we forget thee, shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land, true to our God, true to our native
Next, I will call on Father Manuel Oliveira to give us the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the invitation. This is a very important day for me because on September 11th, 2001, a very close friend of mine, a firefighter from Brooklyn, died on the Twin Towers. Frank Palombo, he had 10 children. Later on, a couple of years later, his wife also died. And on that black, very terrible day, I can tell you that the family stayed together with the help of the Lord, and that in moments of tragedy, better things can happen if the Lord touches our hearts. We bless you, Father, for this day. We bless you for this moment of prayer, of remembering those who have fallen on September 11th. We ask you that you may help us also, always, to do your will, to trust in you, and to rebuild our lives with your help, that in moments of tragedy and difficulties and hardships, you are able to help us. Through your Son, who is Lord forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. So on that day, when the planes flew into the World Trade Center, as people were jumping out of windows, as others were racing down the stairs trying to escape the building, you, our first responders, were moving in the other direction. You were running into the buildings. And so we as a people owe you, police officers, firefighters, rescue squad, everyone that can be counted among our first responders, we owe you a great debt of gratitude for how you responded and for the sacrifices that you have made. And many of our first responders today, they're still paying the price for responding in the fashion in which they did in an effort to save lives on that day. Many of the people who were involved and who responded still suffer the effects today. Many have come down with cancers of different kinds. And that's a debt that we as a nation can never repay you, our first responders. So to our bravest, to our finest, all of our members of our rescue squad, our doctors and nurses, and everyone who responded on that day, I say thank you, and thank you. This nation will never, ever be the same as a result of what happened on September the 11th. And so it is very fitting that every year we come together to remember that very dark day, but more importantly, to remember the lives that were lost on that day. And so we remain strong as a nation as a result of the determination, the resolve that we have to make sure that we put structures in place to prevent the likelihood of such an incident from ever occurring again. But we can never rest on our laurels thinking that it can't happen here, because it can happen anywhere. And so I again want to thank all of you as first responders for how you responded on that day and how you continue each and every day to protect and to serve our city, the communities where you live. And so we will continue always to thank our bravest, our finest, and everyone who is considered a first responder. Let us observe a moment of silence for when that first plane hit the World Trade Center. A moment of silence, please. In his place, I will ask one of the council members present to come forward and give some remarks in his place.
Good morning. I will stand in Steve's stead as the immediate past president of the council and speak to you about having somewhat of an experience on that day in 2001. I was at that time director of the Office of Science Education for Newark Public Schools, and I was out in the fields that day. And the school I was at was Arts High School. And as I was talking to the department chair, the science department chair, the word came through, everybody, let's go upstairs, you won't believe what you're seeing. What we saw when we got to the top floor was the smoke that was coming from the plane that hit in New York. It was devastating for us just to see, but we could never imagine the devastation of those that were there and survived. And we always will honor the lives of those who did not make it. So this is always, even though it's not until this Friday, 9/11, is a day that I always will remember. I'm always grateful for the first responders. As some of you know, my brother was the first responder in Plainfield. He left as he retired as a battalion chief for the Plainfield Fire Department. I honor you and thank you for your service, and be blessed.
At this time, I will ask Reverend Paul Dean to come forward and deliver his message.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Mapp. I am Paul Dean, the senior pastor of Visions of God Family Worship Church located at 350 Leland Avenue, and it's a pleasure to be able to come before all of you this morning. Currently living in a world full of turmoil and controversy, it is understood that in life there will always be things happening, whether good or bad. And life can sometimes seem like it throws us up against a wall. A person in these trying times can identify with two very well-known things, whether it be an egg or whether it be a tennis ball. When an egg is thrown up against a wall, it splats, it shatters. But when a tennis ball is thrown up against a wall, over and over again, it bounces back. Well, 9/11 portrays then and it portrays now. 9/11 is about remembering all the lives that were lost, and 9/11 is all about overcoming. It's about becoming that tennis ball, bouncing back over and over again. As we stand here today in unity, we also remember the families of those that lost loved ones in 9/11 and pray that God will continue to strengthen all of them. The strength that has come to the United States of America in the midst of opposition has come to create also an opportunity. Anytime your adversary, your enemy has come to take down, that's your time to rise and to show your strength. On 9/11, that's exactly what we did. Because of out of the ashes, we rise in strength. This reminds me of Chadwick Boseman, the actor of the Black Panther movie, who recently passed away. He played a part in the movie where his strength has stripped away and his enemy grabbed him and held him tight in a bear hug. It was like he couldn't breathe. It was like he couldn't get out because of the grip. His enemy would begin to headbutt him over and over. And he would say he's not a king. He is a little boy. From the midst of adversity, a voice pierced in his ears and said, "Show them who we are. Show them who you are." And out of nowhere, his strength came to T'Challa. and he defeated his enemy. Ladies and gentlemen of Plainfield, New Jersey, and all around the United States of America, 9/11 did not show our weakness, it showed our strength. Because anytime a nation can experience a tragedy which led to war on 9/11 and still continue to stand there in power and in unity, we still raise our flag with pride. Our fighters are still running into the heat of the flames. Our police officers are still saving and protecting lives. Also, our soldiers who deploy to protect our great country, and we have shown the world our resistance. This is who we are. We will always be strong. We will always be proud, and we will always be resilient. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. I pray that you go in peace, and may your peace be multiplied. At this time, we will have the acknowledgement of the second impact. May we have silence. God bless each and one of you.
At this time, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Councilor Ashley Davis as well as Councilor Charles McCray. I believe those are the only other council members present other than Councilor Jarlett Mills Ransom. And I would like to invite Councilor Davis and then Councilor McCray in that order. And here comes the council president. So, Councilor Davis, why don't you come forward and say and give some brief remarks, followed by Councilor McCray, and then followed by the council president.
Good morning. I am Councilwoman Ashley Davis, and September 11th, I remember it vividly in my mind. I was a 5th grade student at Evergreen Elementary School on September 11, 2001, and I remember it distinctly because every day my grandmother and my mother would go through the World Trade Center. So as a 5th grade student, hearing that 2 planes flew into it, it was terrifying. I was very anxious, and I remember just being scared that they didn't make it. That afternoon, to have my mother come pick me up from my after-school program, it brought a sigh of relief to me, but I also saw the after effects, the PTSD, the suffering that people don't talk about from people who witnessed what happened and they survived it, the survivor's guilt, if you would say. So I want to thank the first responders, because had it not been for them, that would have been even more devastating to this country. It changed how we operate, but we were able to pivot and shift. So thank you to Plainfield's bravest, Plainfield's finest, and the rescue squad for everything that you do for this community. Know that we stand with you and we support you. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Charles McCray. I'm the counsel for the 3rd Ward. 9/11 was a very memorable day for me because just a week before that, I was at the World Trade Center on the top tower. And to see those planes hit that tower, knowing that you were just there, brings thrills or, really emotional through your body to know that many people who had nothing to do with the vented ideology of an individual would be affected, and all our lives would be affected. This is a day that we not only remember the first responders, those who have lost their lives, but also it should show as a reminder that we stand tall and are resilient, and that bigotry, racism, and all other types of adversity will not hold us down. We will rise. And to those who sacrificed their lives, and to the first responders, the police department, medical personnel, I give thanks to you. And there's no greater word that can be said than thank you for all that you do.
Now we'll hear from our council president, Steve Hockaday.
Good morning, all. September 11th, like many others have experienced, was a very traumatic day for all and for our country. I remember it well as well. I was a first-year law student. Driving up Route 22 to Newark for a 9 a.m. torts class was when I heard of the first landing of the plane into the building of World Trade Center 1. And there's certain points of Route 22 where you can look up and actually see New York City and see the smoke coming. And also directly from the law school, we are able to view the after effects of the plane crashing in. One of my law professors actually had his administrative assistant had a wife that was in World Trade Center. And I remember the sigh of relief when they found that she had gotten out successfully. But what I most remember from September 11th is the after effects from it. The way that the country came together, the way that the first responders performed so admirably, the way that legislation changed in order to make the country more safer, the way that political differences did not matter when it was time to repair our country. And as you look now, when you go to World Trade Center, you can see the beauty that is now there and the memorial that is there honoring those 3,000 plus individuals who lost their lives, and also acknowledging the dutiful service of our first responders. It was a very significant time that will be forever impressed on all of our memories, but I am so proud of the way the country came together when we had this unfortunate event occur to us all. Now, 19 years later after this, we suffer from other mass casualties in the coronavirus, which has taken countless lives in America, far more than September 11th. And we know that a large part of the reason that there's been so many casualties here in the United States is because of inadequate leadership at the federal government. And I'm hoping and praying that just like in September 11th, where regardless of political strife, when we were under pressure, when we experienced loss in life and unfortunate situations, that the country would come together once again to do what it can to rid itself of the inadequate leadership at the top. So I'd like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the first responders and all the volunteers who came together at that time of need. And thank you for your dutiful service. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like, without calling names, acknowledge the presence of all of the members of my administration. I thank you for your service each and every day. I will now call on Police Director Lisa Burgess to give some remarks. Director Burgess will be followed by Fire Deputy Chief Joseph Franklin, followed by Plainfield Rescue Squad Tim Law Sr. So you will come in that order.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Every year we come together to remember those who lost their lives in 9/11 and to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to save lives. 9/11 is a day we will never forget, a feeling we will never forget. The strength and courage of our first responders, the pride in honoring them today, for me, it causes me to reflect on this year, 2020. 2020 has been a difficult year for all first responders. It has been very challenging for all our men and women in blue, but they continue to sacrifice their lives under these circumstances. And what I want to say to everyone here is when you think about that feeling you have on today, when we are honoring those for 9/11, think about every day in this year, in 2020, that these officers, these firefighters, these rescue workers, the medical workers have gone out and continue to save lives. Think about that feeling that you have today when you think about the current events and these officers continue to go out here and do the job that they do under these circumstances and continue to protect and serve our country and this community. Sometimes we forget when things are going on, we don't think about they have families too. We don't think about that the strength and courage to put on that uniform every day and to go out here and go into the storm, to save lives, to protect, to serve when there's coronavirus. When today you're the hero, but the next day everybody's looking at you sideways. But these men and women still go out here every day and do what they need to do to make sure that we are all protected. And that's what happened that day on 9/11. They did not come to work knowing what that day was going to be. But when it happened, they got into action and did what they were supposed to do and made that ultimate sacrifice. So what I say to each and every one of you, for me, what I need you to do is reflect on that feeling of today when you see those officers out there each and every day. Because 2020 has been like no other. 9/11 was like no other. And we don't know when this will change. But as first responders, as those men and women in blue, they're going to continue to do what they have to do to keep you safe. So please remember that. And remember this feeling when you see them. And know that they're going to continue to have your back and continue to protect and serve this community as well as those officers around this country serving their community. So with that, I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to all the firefighters, our medical personnel, and I want to say a special gratitude and thank you to all the men and women of the Plainfield Police Department because you are outstanding. And you continue to go out here, and I see it on your faces every day, and you do what you do. And I am proud of you, and no one can take that away. I am proud of you for protecting the city of Plainfield in a time that is like no other. Thank you.
Resiliency, strength by way of remembrance. Good morning, everyone. Greetings, Mayor Mapp, our esteemed City Council, clergy, first responders, residents of Plainfield. I am addressing you on the behalf of the Plainfield Fire Department and our Fire Director, Kenneth Childress, who wanted me to express his deepest regrets for not being able to attend today's 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony. Plainfield, New Jersey, always known as the Queen City, New York City is known as a concrete jungle. Both places are where dreams come true and sometimes are shattered and broken. While I stand before you this morning as Deputy Chief, proud of Department of 100, including 2 women and one an officer. My 25 years as career firefighter has witnessed tragedy and how people could be simultaneously resilient and fragile. That view has been extended beyond Plainfield's borders by way of mutual aid. On the 11th day of September 2001, when 19 hijackers took over 4 West Coast bound designated planes, 2,977 people ranging from 2 to 85 years of age died. 343 were FDNY firefighters, 23 NYPD, and 37 were Port Authority officers. An attack that experts say cost approximately $500,000 to plan and execute resulted in $123 billion economic loss the first 4 weeks after the first plane crashed. The unwavering Queen City heard the call for support and sent her bravest in the form of trucks and able bodies to Brooklyn and Staten Island to support our fellow firefighters and Americans during one of the country's darkest, coldest periods. America came back strong and moved and more united before. As an American president once said, the harder the conflict, the greater the triumph. This global pandemic, COVID-19, reminds me and those I serve with every day of how uncertain things were in September 2001. On this day of remembrance, while fighting through this pandemic, the intersections become more difficult to navigate. Our creativity, appreciation for protocol, love for each other, and our combined goal of safety, freedom, and joy are the tools we can use to recreate safe and equitable spaces. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced 1 kick 10,000 times. Bruce Lee. So, neighbors and all who love Plainfield, our Queen City, in the United States, let us continue to practice that 1 kick we've practiced 10,000 plus times, love. This healing and spine straightening tool unites us all, as it did on September 11th and beyond. No external attacks, human-made weapons, respiratory disease, or natural disaster can rob us of this gift from God. I would encourage you that as we remember those lives lost and those lives changed 19 years ago, we look at our similarities and differences and choose our words and actions wisely and with a clean heart. Showing strength and resilience through adversity that faces our community, it is how we too shall overcome. In closing, let me point out something. As of October 2019, there are victims that have yet to be identified. Please keep them, their families, and their loved ones in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you all. May God bless the Queen City and the United States of America.
Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Timothy Lowe Sr. I'm Vice President of Plainfield Rescue Squad. My heart is just bounding right now, just pumping. Just the thought of why we're here. Our remembrance of 9/11 goes deep into the ever known. When I heard these fine speakers come up here and just was able to come out and just put their heart into everything that their words have said, I don't know if I'm worthy. I'll be honest. 9/11 was tough. It was a tough tough day. The loss of my brothers and sisters that fight the fight every day, not realizing what we're going to walk into, never knowing how we're going to go home. Our family, our backbones that are standing there also in fear of whether or not we're going to come home. I remember everyone lost in those days in that 9/11. I got to tell you, and my heart hurts. But I stand with resolve. Because I look out at you guys, seeing all these young people that are taking the calls, police, fire, EMS, knowing that they may not come home, but still doing the job. And I look at all our civil service that come out to wanting to help, to give of themselves for the benefit of their community. 9/11 will always be remembered. But I got to tell you this, Plainfield community, you honor me with just looking out at you and seeing the strength that you hold and how you hold your community. This is strength, and I feel good. So do hold on to 9/11. Remember those that were lost. Because when you go to work every day, you honor them by your strength, your resolve, by taking the job that not many will not take. This is not a job for everybody. This is not a job that people have the stomach for, but you do it every day. And don't tell me it's for the money. Lord knows we know it's not for the money. It's because of the heart and soul that you have. And I just have to say this in closing. Thank you. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you inspire, inspiring me and the strength that you have. God bless you. God bless America. And thank you again.
And Mr. Lowe, know that you will always be worthy because of the service that you've given to this city and that you continue to give each and every day. There are differences that exist among all of us, but those differences pale in comparison to what unites us. We are united in suffering and pain. We are united as a people, as human beings who bleed and feel emotions in very much the same way. And so it's always good when we can come together and acknowledge each other, acknowledge the service that's provided to this city each and every day by everyone in this administration. But on a day like this, when we come together to remember that very dark day, I am so appreciative today, as I am each and every day, for the service that you, our first responders, provide. Our police, men and women, our firefighters, we owe you a debt of gratitude each and every day, because you leave your homes every day. And because of the nature of the work that you do, we don't know what will happen or what the story will be at the end of the day. And so I can't thank you enough for all that you do each and every day to protect and to serve, regardless of the differences that we may have from time to time. None of that matters. What matters is the work that you do, the service that you render to our city, and you do it with honor and with distinction. And so I thank you for all of that. Our rescue squad, know that we appreciate you. When that call comes and you have to rush to a home to aid someone who might be experiencing some form of difficulty, it is because of you that they're able to recover and to be safe. So as long as I'm the mayor of the city, I will continue to provide our police men and women, our firefighters, men and women, and our responders, our fire squad, rescue squad. To the extent that I can, I will assist you with carrying out your mission. So know that you can count on me. I will be here to provide you with the resources, the tools that you need. And so, as we continue to commemorate this day, let's remember the many families that were impacted and are still feeling the effects of that day. And let us always remember that we live in the best nation on the face of the earth. And we will continue to be good citizens, serving our communities wherever we are. With that said, I will now call forward Father Manuel Oliveira, followed by Reverend Paul Dean, and that will bring us to the end of this ceremony. Father Manuel Oliveira.
Thank you, Mayor Mapp. I ask you to be patient. I'm going now to address our brothers and sisters of those who speak Spanish. Te bendecimos, Señor, por este día. Te bendecimos por tu amor y tu misericordia. Te pedimos por la nación de los Estados Unidos en esta conmemoración del 11 de septiembre, para que nos puedas dar siempre la certeza de que tú puedes reconstruir nuestras vidas, reconstruir una nación. Danos, Señor, la certeza de hacer tu voluntad, de confiar en ti. Te pedimos que protejas a los jóvenes, también a los que trabajan los de la policía, los bomberos, los que vienen en nuestro socorro cuando estamos enfermos, a los doctores, y danos la esperanza todos los días de hacer tu voluntad y confiar en ti y no desesperar. Te lo pedimos por tu Hijo Jesucristo, que vive y reina por los siglos de los siglos. Amén. Thank you. May God bless you all.
And I would like to thank Mayor Mapp, Council, Administration, and all of you that are here. I'd like to give an apologia of the word benediction. The word benediction is simply the blessing. It is not the ending. For us, it's a continuation of who we are. So may I pronounce a blessing upon your life as we depart from this place. May the Lord be with you. May the Lord keep you. May his face shine upon you. And may you go in strength. May everything you touch, God cause you to prosper. Going in and going out, may you be blessed. In season and out of season. As you take the streets, as you save, as you help. As this city is great, may God strengthen us together in unity. May he provide us with great leadership. Everything you do with your families, the sacrifices that you make, may the Spirit of the Lord grant you peace, and may you always prosper in Jesus' name. Amen. The Lord be with you.
Amen. That concludes the program for today. Thank you. May God continue to bless each and every one of you and your families. Thank you.